Yes, yes. How long do you believe this will be a problem? He twists under the conviction of her gaze. I just want us to do what's safe. I didn't say it was a problem. I would never say that. No, you wouldn't. But I hear you think it. She shakes her head. Why not go, when it never helped anything to stay? No, we're not leaving, not when you're... She tells him she will go in the morning, that he can stay, but she will go. It's what she has told him again and again and again. Anger and worry and something else he can't name fill his head, stopping his mouth. But he knows at dawn they'll leave together. They go to bed in silence, and she is soon asleep. Beside her, he lies awake, trying to recall the day she began to drift from him, first by inches, then by miles. Things happen little by little, and then all at once. He watches but doesn't touch her, though he feels the desire in his hand to feel her hair, the hard muscles of her back, turned toward him. He watches her the way he wishes he'd been watching when it happened. Maybe only for a minute he turned his eyes from her, and that lit-up bit of her, star-bright and searing, went out. Something he loved is gone now from her face, and he understands that, without knowing it or meaning to, he is the one who took it away. In the end, that's why he agreed to leave, to evacuate the place that has been their home together, because somehow he did what happened to her. This is what he dreams. His mother is waiting for him outside, where he discovers that the fire has burned through the plug of sod he always smothers it with before bed. She looks reproachfully at him and then up at the smoke, weaving into the sky. They'll find you, she says. He wants to explain that he didn't mean to be so careless, that he always checks the fire before bed. When she was alive, she never let them light a fire. But he wants to tell her it was different then. It had last snowed when his mother was 8 years old, the year they closed the border and talks on rebuilding the cities collapsed. She rarely spoke to him about her childhood, but she loved to tell him about the last time it snowed, how she'd woken in the middle of the night and not known why, how she put her face to the window of the outland house her family had moved to 1 year earlier, the house that felt, still, like it belonged to the people who had abandoned it after the second tsunami, leaving their pictures on the walls and their books on the shelves. How slow and wide and strange the snowfall was. One day, months later when, 100 miles away, the fires began to burn, she glimpsed ash in the sky and thought that by some miracle in that scorched summer another snow had come. But she never saw snow again. It was 2 winters after her death that he woke one morning to a white forest, and the winter after that he lost a toe to the cold and was in bed for weeks with a fever. It was, he and Judy decided, safer to light the fire. This year, the trees had scarcely dropped their leaves before the snow came, and so he dug a pit in the ground where the flames would be hidden from view. And on the upwind side he dug a tunnel to ventilate the fire, oxygen feeding the flames and raising the temperature, so the buried fire would release only a thin stream of smoke that vanished inches from the ground. The fire pit allowed them to cure and stockpile meat so they could better endure the times of hardship, when illness or foul weather or bad luck would otherwise have left them hungry. Each afternoon he gathered green switches to bridge the hole, and suspended a pot over top filled with whatever they'd managed to kill or preserve. They'd lit a fire every night for months, and no one, not even a peddler, had passed their hide. Don't worry, he wants to say to his mother. I've thought of everything. But he finds himself unable to speak. The words stick to his tongue, and he feels only a deep sadness at seeing his mother again. He wants to appease her fears for him. He wants to take her into the shelter to see Judy. He wants to tell her he might be a father. But he can tell she knows what he and Judy have planned. Somehow she knows that at dawn they'll leave the place where they were safe. She beckons to him to follow her, and then leads him along the ridge he climbs every day down to the brook. She wades through the water, looking back at him to ensure he is behind her. Silently, he follows. Though he has spent the last 4 years among these trees,